Yeah, I realized that was.
It's a nice plan to have in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
it's chill.
It's
It's friendly, actually.
It's great to have there. I'm ready when you are.
Cool, sounds good.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. I think it's good. Yeah.
Cool. Blah,
That's
blah,
it.
blah, 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 blah. Check, 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 check.
You know I do already record this,
Cool.
and we're gonna keep it.
All right, perfect.
No, that's a great start to start this podcast.
Cool.
Already just spoke to the guys of Crossfade, but you
Oh,
are,
right on. Yeah, yeah, we love those guys.
yeah, and you are headlining this tour.
Yes. We got some shows in between these festivals that we're linking up with Crossfaith and Bleed From Within, and gonna melt some faces tonight.
It's a small room. It's gonna get pretty hot.
Nah, exactly. That's that's what we like.
It's you just said in between festivals.
Yep.
What festivals in Europe did you play or are you gonna play?
Shoot. We started out in Sweden and Germany with Borgholm Brenner and Wacken Festival. And then we've kind of been through a couple other ones, Open Flare Festival, and just some stuff around Germany. And now we had a day off yesterday, and now we have 2 shows in the Netherlands. And then we meet back up with about a week's worth of festivals. And then I think we have like 1 or 2 more shows. Yeah, but we still have about a good 2.5 weeks out here.
That's always nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Playing festivals and club shows. Is there a big difference for the feeling
Well,
on stage?
I think, yeah, totally. I think it's good to kind of have that balance, and it's fun to be able to play the big festival shows and have like the big stages and everything like that. Not to mention the audiences are awesome, and usually the lineups of these festivals are like someone literally dreamed them up because it's like just all these sick bands on festivals and stuff. But I really feel like us doing and like getting into clubs like that, and that's kind of where we fell in love with music. Like we come from a lot of, my cement comes from a lot of like local scenes of going into clubs and watching metalcore bands and punk bands and stuff like that, and never really getting to see it on the big festival main stage. We don't, at least in California, we don't have anything like that for rock and roll or metal, and I don't think there ever has been really, at least not to the scale of what's out here. So for us, we're like, while we're out here, it's important for us to get and do other shows and headline or support or do whatever kind of in between to kind of like, not only does it balance us mentally, but it also kind of like, it allows our fans to see us in so many different ways, because, you know, a lot of the times you'll come out to a club show and be like, damn, that was totally crazy, because there's just something about these kind of shows that is different from the festival. And the festival has its own, you know, because you're basically surrounded by tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of people that all love music just like you do. You know what I mean? So I think it's overwhelming in both ways. And I think it's cool to kind of have a kind of like yin and yang to that, to kind of like, kind of show where we come from. And at the same time, make sure our audience knows that like we'll rock wherever we can. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like wherever will have us, we will play. And in my cement, we'll perform. You know what I mean?
It's Monday today. We are
Yeah.
in the Tivoli in Utrecht. Tomorrow you will play Eindhoven, the Dynamo.
Yeah.
Also similar club like this. A little bit more to the south, more where I live, but
Right,
I
right.
couldn't make it tomorrow, so I was like, let's fix it for today.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So that's sometimes how it goes, of course.
Yeah.
And after that, you said you go on to the festivals again.
Yep.
So it's the weekend before festivals, some days in the club, and then back to the
Exactly.
Is
yeah.
the set list a lot different? Because
We definitely try and change it up depending on however it goes, but we have a bunch of new music and a bunch of stuff from Defy, and most all the albums. I think we tried to cover our bases because we've been playing for like almost 80 minutes at these festivals too. So it's been like
that's
basically like, for us that's like headlining set stuff. So we kind of try and bring the performance and bring the experience from. You can see it on a massive festival stage, or you could see it, you know, in the clubs and in the theaters and in the different stuff. And it almost, to us, it has a completely different vibe too. And it feels amazing to be able to hear those songs in the different different scenarios. Because the funny thing about music, and that most bands will tell you, is these songs start in our brain, and then we make them in a room smaller than this, and then we record them in a room even smaller than this, and then somehow then we perform them in front of all the people and whatever, and it always takes on a life of its own, and in every performance anywhere, that that is the memory that all of the audience will have of that night. You know what I mean? And so, kind of like being really trying to bring that to every performance that we do, and yeah.
And that gives a little bit different vibes every time. Little the ambience is different. But
Yeah, absolutely, and it's cool. We actually really like being in the city centers because we kind of like to go around and see stuff and go and check out the culture and just kind of be out and not necessarily always kind of like focus too hard at the festivals. You wake up there, you find out where the shower is. You're stuck on this little island and you can't really get off of it. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
get your food, get your shower, and go
exactly,
on
yeah,
stage.
and then go on stage and go do press and go do this and go do that. And those days end up being like really really busy. So these in between days have been really awesome because we just kind of get to go out and eat good food and kind of hang out in the city and actually the weather's been friggin' phenomenal. I'm gonna knock on wood right now, but
Yeah, thank you.
it's been awesome, and even the rain a little bit today and yesterday was kind of nice. I don't know. It's like it's a good vibe to kind of have that on and off time, and then get to rock a show tonight. Like that's fucking awesome.
You just spoke about balance a little bit
Sure.
to get the club shows and the festivals in balance. How do you get in balance between all the touring? Because it's
Um.
a lot of performing.
Yeah, for sure. I guess for me personally, like I enjoy it so much, and it's what I've always wanted to do. Like for anything, is just make music and perform it, and be in a band that rehearses in a garage and plays at a club down the street. You know what I mean? Like so, to be where the band has like gotten to be and where we're at is like it's really incredible. And for me, I don't know. I love playing. It helps when you love your instrument. Like I'm a gear nerd. I love all my sponsors. Like I really
You
feel
can
like I
name
get.
them all if you want.
Yeah, all right. DW drums, Zildjian cymbals, ProMark drumsticks, Evans drum heads, Porter and Davy seats, Roland electronics, like True Tuner. Yeah, it's pretty crazy because it's just awesome, and I love music. So to get to perform it every night or every other night or whatever, or however our schedule really
Hmm.
works out, to me, like that's the most fun. I think I get super like in my own head, like when we're in the studio, and I get like like way too focused sometimes to where that like makes it not fun because I'm just so hard on myself. And tour never makes me feel that way, and I think that's kind of part of the creative process is tour is the release. Tour is when we get to go out and we get to play these songs that we wrote in bedrooms and like on tape recorders and turn it into now it's your song, now it's this, and like seeing our fans every night and seeing the way that our music can affect our audience is like, to me, that's like this is what it's all about. Like we just happen to make the music and are able to record it decently. You know what I mean? So I feel like it never bothers me. I miss my wife. I miss my family at home. But at the same time, this is like since I was a teenager, probably 14, went on my first outside of California tour when I was like 16, and I'm in my 30s now. Like all in my mind, all I know is the road. Like all I know is
That's what
this
you grew up.
music, this
Yeah.
life, like this whatever we do, and I take it very seriously, and I'm proud to be where we're at and to still get to do interviews and talk about it because it was something that I really feel like in a lot of ways you if that's what you want, you have to will it into existence. You have to make the sacrifices and make the decisions to do that. So like I feel so fortunate when we get to go on tour and I'm like, holy shit, dude, like we're playing with all these friggin' sick festival bands. Like we're big fans of the Bleed From Within guys. Shout out. And we've been listening to their record a bunch. And Crossfaith we actually took Crossfaith out on their very first European UK tour many many years ago. And to see them on the stage the other day too was absolutely incredible. To see how much these bands grow and bring what their own flavor to the table is that's seriously like that's the coolest shit.
And of Mice and Men grew as well.
Absolutely, yeah. We're always growing.
It has been a bumpy road sometimes. It has been
Yeah.
had some changes lately.
Yeah.
And you following a new path into the future.
Yeah, absolutely,
With
absolutely.
a small
That's
change in lineup. We have
Yeah.
to name it. You
Yeah.
understand that? But it always has to be a really steady band.
Sure.
Like musically, vocally, it has always been a powerhouse on stage.
Thank you.
And you as a drummer,
Sure.
bringing that power.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
How is it to work? And it maybe sounds crazy for me,
Sure.
for you, but for me it's like maybe it makes sense in my head. But working with a new team, I mean,
Yeah.
there were some changes. There are some changes inside
Yeah.
the crew. But working to a new album, is that also finding new ways to do things, or is it like, okay, I'm the drummer, I can do this and more, and I want to go that way, and the rest
Sure.
will follow?
I think as our band, with every album, it's really a chapter of the band's life, and so we're here at sixth album, and we kind of look at it as chapters, and we didn't really understand. It took some. It's not we didn't understand. It took some time for us to figure out how to speak our musical language together, and I think you can hear a lot of differences through each album, and with each album we are learning how to speak musically to each other and learning each other's strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that, because like for our band it was not put together as like 4 or 5 friends from high school. Like we came from like all over California. Members have come from as far as the East Coast of there to New Zealand to everywhere. Like we've had so many people in the band, and I think what has always stayed constant is trying to communicate better through music. And as our band grows, we need to be able to communicate with our audience much like we need to be able to communicate with ourselves, so nobody gets frustrated about the music and nobody does anything. It's like with any working healthy relationship in your life, you have to communicate. And I think as we got older, we realized our strengths and our weaknesses and who excels in what situations, and we use that to our advantages in order to work together and create music in a much more, I guess, less stressful and more like introspectively stressful, because like you want to do the best, but like in the greater scheme of thing, that doesn't really, like everyone's like working together, and because of that, of Mice and Men is like very much a collaboration of all of us as musicians. So everybody incorporating whatever it is that they can do. I grew up playing music, so like my first instrument was violin to piano to saxophone to bass guitar to guitar, and then I finally picked up the drums because I was like, I'm over learning music. All I got to do is hit these things, like, and they make noise, and that's it. And like, to me, it was so simple, but it really kind of like shaped how I think of music. And so everybody has their own story like that. And I think we realized that we need to play to all of our strengths in order to create the best of Mice and Men music, because of Mice and Men makes honest music about what we're going through in life, in hopes that our audience will listen to that and realize that we all go through it, that we are all, the best laid plans of Mice and Men often go awry. Like life is going to throw you curveballs. Life is going to kick you down a couple stairs, but it's how you get back up and get back on your feet and continue to pursue what it is that you're passionate about. So that's kind of how, when we write, like we think of it that way, and we really think like, how are we going to push ourselves in order to, I guess, push the communication with the audience as well, and making, over the course of now 6 albums, it's an incredible arc to like listen to. And we listen to those early songs, and it's crazy because people have to think that we wrote that stuff when we were like, like damn near teenagers, you know what I mean? And like much younger, and listen to completely different music. Not completely different, because obviously we still have the same, a
You
lot of
went
the
from
same.
the violin to the saxophone, so
Right.
a lot of different
But I
music.
mean, like, yeah, so for us, it really is like kind of like we look back and we see like, what do we enjoy about this? Like, what inspired us from this, like what do we like so much about these old songs? How do we interject that into Of Mice and Men in 2019 and 2020? And who better to do that than us? You know what I mean? And so I think with every album, it brings its own exciting things that I guess translate into the music.
Let's park that new album a little bit for now,
Yeah.
because I have one question for you. I was looking to a video today about you talking about your gear.
Okay. Yeah.
I have no clue from where it was, but it was you sitting behind your drums,
Uh huh.
and one guy was interviewing you.
Okay.
Um, when you get into the new album, is that you pick first your drum kit, or is it like, let's make some music first and then let's find the right drums and the right kits for it?
We have done records that way where you kind of like, I would say Restoring Force was a record that we were really like, okay, what's going to be the sound of this? We need to change snares all the time here. Like, let's do different types of drums here. We need a thick drum set for this. We need this and that. And I think, as I said before, with every album, it's kind of like different. And for this recent record, wanting to have a more straightforward and live sounding album as opposed to a very hyper produced, huge and small and different all over the place album. We definitely wanted the drums to be like in your face. This producer that we work with, Josh Wilbur, he really like his drum sounds that he gets out of the kit is like insane. And so for me, like I have a bunch of fucking kick-ass DW drums that I love. Like I have a cherry wood kit and I have a maple kit. And for this album, I recorded with my maple kit and added a couple concert toms to it. So I had this like massive tom set up, and in that sense, like for me, I wanted to have as much stuff to speak my mind on, and like in that sense, like for this album, I built a kit out of all of like a bunch of my drums that I have
Okay.
in order to kind of like have options for every kind of sound that I guess I wanted. And that's the nerd in me. That's the dude that sits at home and looks up like extra hardware clamps to put another cymbal somewhere or stick some little thing. But like that's that's part of the fun of like being creative when you're making the album. And that translates a lot different to live too, because I try not to do that too hard with my stuff. I try and keep it a little more straightforward, even though I see crazy ass kits out here where I'm like, dude, I saw a psycho one for UDO the other day, and his kit is like mine, but like an actual spaceship. Like the thing is crazy. So I think not only is the creation of music fun, but like digging into the instrument of it and really realizing, especially as a drummer, that some of my favorite drummers always listen to like the melodies and focused on solid and using their drums as a musical instrument, as opposed to just bang, 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 hit, 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 which is what I, being a punk rocker right out of the gates, I was like, no, it's how fast you can play and like how quick your songs are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like how thrashy your beats could be and stuff like that. And through the course of time, like I guess I've just kind of like learned what I like and what I don't like to do. And on this new record, I got to do a bunch of really, really fun stuff. And Josh pushed me and my bandmates pushed me. And it was like a fun experience to like dive more into, but dive back into like really aggressive drumming. Cause I felt like Defy was a little more progressive and stuff like that. But like just diving into more like aggressive metal drumming was really, really fun.
You made a perfect segue to the new album.
Perfect.
Because it's gonna release in just a month.
Yeah, September
it's-
27th. So
yeah.
like it's coming up. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
six weeks.
Yeah, man. We've been sitting on that thing since like December too. So it's like it's been hard because we were figuring out how we were going to do the songs and figuring out touring and stuff, everything that goes into all that. So yeah, I mean that's can't wait. You know what I mean? Like there's tons of songs on it that people are going to be excited to hear that they don't even realize that they're going to love. Like we had such a fun time writing it, and we feel like we wanted to show our audience some of where the sound of the album is headed. And so we've given them How to Survive, Mushroom Cloud, and Earth and Sky. And that's just kind of like for starters. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
we want people to dig into the record and listen to it and find their favorite songs and put it on their favorite playlists and just enjoy it and have fun and listen to it, because we had a lot of fun making it. And then the second most important thing about the album is make sure you come out and see it live. Once you've heard these songs on the internet or from your friend or whatever, watch the music video, like, come out and experience that live, because that's like what this whole style of music, what this is all about. Like, you got to live it, you got to breathe it, you got to be in there, because it's a really exciting place to enjoy music. It's unlike any other.
But is this 80-minute set you're gonna play already a lot of the new album, or is that still
No, we don't really like playing music that we haven't released yet.
okay?
So
So the
we're
people that are
saving
coming
those.
today
Yeah.
hear some songs, and
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when are you coming back then?
We are figuring that out currently.
Okay, because it
And
wouldn't make sense if you'll be back in October already. I mean,
right, no,
that's-
because these are some pretty big festivals, and
Yeah.
we can't contractually come
no,
back for a while.
exactly.
So, but be on the lookout for us to bring Earth and Sky over here, and we're like in talks with that and figuring out next year, because it's already shaping up to be incredibly busy and to be putting out morning music and morning music videos and stuff like that. Like, we really want to stay busy because we enjoy it, and we love what we do. So we're currently in talks about figuring out a headlining tour for out here, and so I would definitely say be on the lookout for that. If you don't already, follow us on our social media platforms, from Facebook to Instagram to Twitter, the whole nine. You'll find us, of Mice and Men.
And the links are just in the show notes, no problem.
Yeah,
So
sick.
it's
And
easy to,
and,
to
and if
find.
you always want to be up to date with of Mice and Men concerts, it's of Mice and Men I'm sorry, it's of micetickets.com. And also, one more link to plug. Our album comes out September 27th, and there'll be a pre-order link below, and check that out. We got a bunch of really cool merch packages, and I really want to touch on this. I feel like your audience will really enjoy it. This album, we put a lot of work into the packaging and into the rollout of how the album has been going, and tying in the music videos together, and the packaging is something really special. And we really hope that in this day, like, having a music collection is very important. And I think if it is important to you, and for me, my music collection is huge, and it's always growing. And so for me, like, and all of us in the band, we all have our music collections. And so we wanted to create something physical that can be part of your collection, that will involve with not only the artwork, but there's so much really cool things that are just, I don't know. I can't wait. Like, it's really going to be sick. Support the bands you love, buy music,
Go to
stream
concerts.
it, go to concerts,
Yeah.
be a part of it. This is your community. Like, it's all of our communities. Like, we have music in our lives. We want to share it with everybody.
So if you hear this podcast when I release it on the 13th of August, you might still get some tickets for the Eindhoven show. I don't know if it's
Yeah,
sold out,
sick.
but
Cool.
who knows? So if you hear this in the morning and it was like, I have nothing to do tonight.
Yeah,
can
well,
still
you
go
better
to
come
Eindhoven.
out to the show and bang your head
Yeah.
and sweat a little.
And otherwise, just find some tickets for the rest of Europe somewhere. There's
Absolutely.
Still, I mean, this one is sold out. So
Yeah,
that's
it's a
amazing.
Monday night. It's
Yeah.
about to be incredibly crazy down there.
Yeah, it's still vacation time, so that helps a little bit. That people.
No, it's a Monday. Everybody has work. They're really busy. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm working. Damn it.
Yeah,
You're
see,
working.
yeah. Hey, me too. I got work.
So no, but indeed, support bands.
Yep.
And I just that the same as with Crossfade. So if you hear that podcast before this one, it should be. Otherwise, go listen to the Crossfade one. I ask them to plug a more unknown act.
Oh, uh-huh.
Someone you love, someone from your neighborhood, some friends maybe.
Oh, okay, cool.
Something most people won't know and should
Okay.
know. Can
Yeah.
you name one?
Yes, I can. We have some friends from back home in Orange County, California. They're called Them Evils, and they're the most kick-ass rock band out right now. Like, and they're just straight up like kind of like a classic rock meets more modern day. They got a Motorhead cover in their song. Like, they're a super rockin' band, and we actually put them on some shows with us in back in the States. And people were like, "Oh my God, we've never heard of these guys before." But like, we didn't expect to like them because we like metal. But like, they were so good, and that's exactly the type of band they are. Is they're a super sick, just rockin' band that is a 3-piece that brings it probably harder than most of the people that we've met, at least, that are doing that kind of music. A lot of the times they just kind of hang out on stage and are just like rocking out. But these guys really, really bring it. So check them out. They're called Them Evils. They're from California, where we're from, and turn it up.
I gonna ask you the link in just a few after the podcast.
For sure.
So I'll plug it in the show notes, of course.
Awesome, man. Thank you so
people
much.
can find it, and they can find your album, the upcoming one.
Perfect.
The old ones, you can listen to everything.
Yeah,
it's gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
everywhere.
Yep.
So just do that and enjoy it. And as much as I hope that I'm gonna enjoy the show tonight, in a fully sweaty environment.
Yeah.
But, hey,
Let's get wood.
That's how it goes. I want to thank you very much for your time.
Yeah,
and
man.
for
Thank
the
you so much.
Great interview.
Thank you, man.
Great talk. Let's never do interviews. Talk. We have talks. And for everyone that are listening and have been listening to the podcast, some new ones are coming out soon. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, see you to the next one.
Rock and roll.